Ladies and gentlemen, welcome wrestling fans worldwide to Knoxville and the Great Smoky Mountains for the Ron Fuller, Tennessee Studcast.
6 feet 9 inches tall, 265 pounds.
This historic podcast from one of the most respected and successful wrestlers and promoters will follow the footsteps of the largest and oldest wrestling family on the planet.
Listen to what I'm saying. That's right. Bring that camera in here a little bit closer.
Through 93 years and 4 generations.
The stud has arrived.
Old school or new fan, this unique broadcast will educate and captivate as Ron details decades of professional wrestling's growth with truly unforgettable stories.
I want those people out there at home to hear the stud.
Sit back and enjoy the ride with the Tennessee Stud.
The Tennessee Stud. You will learn that name. You will remember it.
And now,
the stud is here.
Hey everybody, welcome in. It's David Summers, and here comes another Studcast with the Tennessee Stud, Ron Fuller. This is the story of wrestling in America as told by the Stud, whose family started the profession over 100 years ago. So now, let's step back into the ring, back into time. Let's get wall to wall and treetop tall with the Tennessee Stud, Ron Fuller. Hey Ron, what's going on in your world?
Oh, geez, man. Beautiful day here. Can't complain about it. Had some big storms lately. I guess maybe you're probably getting some of those down there where you are, too. But nothing that's hurt anybody, thank goodness.
Yeah, that's the good news. We had a nice little thunderstorm come through this morning that put a nice soaking on everything, but it probably didn't last 20 or 25 minutes, but hey, we'll certainly take that. All right, so listen, we've been talking quite a bit lately about another plateau that you're going to be reaching next week on the next Studcast, because this episode is number 399. Next week, 400 of these that you've done, and that is absolutely amazing.
Yes, it certainly is, man. It's amazing to me, as a matter of fact. That's a big figure, man. 400 one-hour programs.
Man,
that's quite a lot.
The research that you put into this week to week, week after week, is absolutely amazing. I know the kind of time that you spend getting all this information in and putting this show together. The Southeastern crowds, I tell you, have been spectacular in these last several Studcasts. That was probably due to the great crew of Southeastern wrestlers that you had, and really you always had, heading into the summer of 1981.
Yeah, man. We really did have a number of the best young wrestlers in the world, probably. With us at that time in 1981. Athletes like Paul Orndorff, these are young guys. I'm talking about when they were in their first couple of years. Stan Lane, Brad Armstrong, Mr. Olympia, Jerry Stubbs, Robert Gibson, a fantastic Japanese star, Masa Saito.
Yeah.
Even the future Midnight Express tag team of Dennis Conte and Randy Rose were in their early years in the ring. So the rest of the crew wasn't old either, by any exaggeration. Bob Armstrong was still a young guy. Yeah. Ron Bass, Ken Lucas, myself, and my cousin Jimmy Golden.
Yeah, don't. In that day, you didn't walk up to Bob Armstrong and call him old. You better have your tennis shoes laced up. All right, listen. How did that group compare to other Southeastern crews that you had in the past and worked with so well?
Geez, man. By 1981, I'd only been a territory owner for about 7 years at that point. Mm-hmm. And I'd been extremely lucky since my second year as an owner to be able to attract some really great wrestlers, man, that stayed with me off and on for many years. I think this 1981 group, though, might have been the best group of young wrestlers ever at that time.
Well, I'll tell you, the list that you just ran down a couple of minutes ago was exactly what you just said. In our brief conversation before we started today, you said this Studcast was going to have almost 40 minutes of video in it. You've got it jam-packed. That being the case, We better get to hitting the trail. All right, so why don't you start by setting up the card? Take us to the third week in April of 1981.
Was backing up just a little, and speaking of young wrestlers again in the sport, there's another one that's going to be joining us on this card, Roberto Soto, who is a really young wrestler at this point in 1981. He's going to be in the opening match against the Masked Angel. And in a special tag match, Ron Bass and Stan Lane, who were both champions at that time, were going to be facing Jerry Stubbs and Ken Lucas. And if either Stubbs or Lucas won the match, they were going to both be getting a shot at the other guy's belts the following week. And then in Paul Orndorff's Alabama championship was on the line against Masa Saito in what might have been the first and only Japanese death match in American wrestling history. And then the Southeastern Tag Champions, Dennis Condrey and Randy Rose, were defending their belts in the first ever elimination tag team match. And in this one, the loser of the fall had to return to the dressing room until only one man remained undefeated. And whoever that was, his team was going to be the winner and the champions. And then the last match of the night was the 10-round boxing match. Jimmy Golden was seconded by Ron Bass, and the Tennessee stud Ron Fuller was seconded by Ken Lucas.
Man, that was a great card, no doubt about it. Every match except the first one had something different than usual in it. So it's time for the TV show that promoted this most unusual card. Get that set up for us.
Well, he certainly is, Dave. And this TV show was just as unusual as the card it was advertising. On the opening of this one, Charlie and Les were plugging the first ever championship elimination tag match, the first ever in America, as a matter of fact, a Japanese death match, and a 10-round boxing match as well. So for the first time since we started showing videos, this TV was going to have 4 TV matches, one of which ends with a contestant having to be held back to the dressing room. It's got all kinds of interviews in this one, a personality profile that has 4 different wrestlers that hadn't been on a profile for a long time, and it's going to have a training session for both the Tennessee stud and Jimmy Golden leading up to their 10-round boxing match.
Okay, so it really sounds like a very loaded and interesting TV show. So who was in the first TV segment? Who and what was going on there?
Well, it has a live match with one of the Southeastern Tag Champions in a single match, which is most unusual. Condrey and Rose have been known several, probably more than any of the tag teams, obviously, in that area. But this was going to be one of them in a single match. And that was going to be followed by Bob Armstrong's showing their last match against the Southeastern Tag Champions.
Well, it certainly sounds like this is going to be a very interesting way to start a TV show. All right, our producer Brian is going to play the first of 8 videos that we've set up for you today. Almost 40 minutes of live action in this Studcast. Let's get it going with this first clip.
Introducing in the corner to my left at 224 pounds from Oklahoma, Roy Welch. Roy Welch. His opponent at 242 pounds from Charlotte, North Carolina, Dennis Condrey. Condrey.
Half of the Southeastern Tag title holders, a team of Condrey and Rose. You see Rose stepping out of the ring. Singles action today. Condrey against Roy Welch.
We don't see Dennis in singles matches too often, or at least not in recent months, but he is a very, very capable singles wrestler, and he's got a tough veteran out against him, Roy Welch. So there's the bell, collar and elbow. Welch takes the initiative, backs him into that rope, and on the break, Roy is ready for him. Dennis started to move on him, Charlie, but Roy anticipated. Top wrist lock by Condrey. Welch makes the switch. Dennis goes to the ropes, and he'll get the break.
Although he's been devoting most of his time now to tag competition with his cousin, Randy Rose. Dennis Condrey, and previous times has been very successful as a singles action, once holding the Georgia Heavyweight Championship among other titles.
That's true. Many wrestlers prefer one type of competition or the other, Charlie, tag or singles. Condrey has excelled in both, held belts in both, and that means he's a well-rounded athlete, a well-rounded wrestler. A lot of people don't agree with his style, his methods, but nonetheless, he does produce in the professional ranks. That's what it's all about, taking the dollars and cents to the bank.
Right now, a little test of strength, standing wrist lock, and possibly Condrey using the shortcut by pulling the hair.
Once again, they're right back in there, headlocked this time by Roy Welch, and he's applying the pressure. Condrey goes to one knee, back to his feet now, locks into the hair there, but the referee calls for the break. Condrey shoots him off, drops low. Welch over the top. Roy hooks the headlock, throws the hip in and the takedown. Back in command. Condrey rolls him over. And these men are making a pretty good pace here, Charlie.
Welch with a side headlock. Condrey rolls this man over again, using that bottom rope for leverage.
Condrey gets his toes over that bottom strand of rope. The referee calls for the break. Roy up cautiously. Set to move in. Condrey coming to his feet now. Nice go behind by Condrey. Hooks the cradle, takes his man down, gets a 2 count. Condrey in control now, has the leg hook. And apparently from the reaction of the fans, maybe using the tights here for leverage. Charlie, we can't see it on our television screen. But this is the type of thing that Condrey and Rose do well. They'll pick away at you, take the little advantages they can out of sight of the referee, try to put it all together and take home the victory. Condrey here with the leg of Welch broken over the back of his neck. He's got it bent in that way. Had a nice grapevine on it. But now applying that pressure and trying to get those shoulders down. And I'd say, yes, he's using a bit of the tights there for leverage, Charlie.
Condrey going in a right. He lift. Doubles Welch over. Now Condrey going from that turnbuckle. Condrey opening up.
Condrey goes in behind, hooks that abdominal stretch. Now he's near the ropes. Dennis likes to use a little leverage off those ropes. He's got it there. And again, as the referee moves around to take a look, Dennis turns loose of the rope. And as far as the ref can see, everything is legal. Condrey breaks loose, goes after Welch, gets a body press on him, and a 2 count. Roy bails out. That knee again, Condrey using that effectively several times in this contest. The elbow now down across the back of the neck. And another knee. And another. Condrey opening up now. Possessing a chance possibly to put Roy away, but don't count the veteran Roy Welch out.
Condrey takes his man up. Body slam. Dropping the knee, but Welch quickly moves out of the way. Welch. Connection to the side of the head.
Condrey went to the well once too often with that knee. Roy Welch taking advantage now, opens up his attack of his own. Body slam. Roy goes high and comes down with a knee drop. Going for the press here, but couldn't get a good handle. Condrey bails out. Condrey, a powerful man at about 242. Randy Rose moving out the ringside. Roy, I think this is maybe a diversion here. Condrey with that clothesline as Roy turned around. And Charlie, they work well as a team even when they're not in tag team action.
Rose out, diverting Welch's attention, and Condrey catching Welch as he turns back around with that quick clothesline, and there you see. Condrey takes the match. Your winner, one half of the Southeastern Tag Champions, Dennis Condrey. Our first event here on Southeastern Championship Wrestling today. Bob and Brad Armstrong coming out to join us. And along with Jerry Stubbs, gentlemen, we have some videotape of a previous match in which you were against the tag team combination of Rose and Condrey. If we could, let's roll that piece of videotape. And Bob, it was a very hard-fought match.
It was. It was a tornado match where all 4 men are in the ring at the same time, and as you know, it could go either way.
we've always said what's good for the goose is good for the gander, and you never can tell what will happen in a match like this. And here Brad and I have been working on moves as a team, and here you can see we both hooked the sleeper. We thought we had everything under control, but, you know, every time something happens here, he dropped, he pulled the referee into me, hit me right over the eye. It knocked me goofy, it knocked the referee goofy. They got rid of Brad, and here they had things going their way. They thought they had me all to their mercy. And in a minute, you're going to see the third element. Now, they're doing a job on me. They're real happy about it. But you're going to see Brother Saito, who I call the terrific trio, Condrey, Rose, and Saito. Here he comes out. He passes his Oriental-type winner there. And when I got up, brother, all I saw was white. He hit me in the eyes with that, and it burned like fire. Here you can see they're going to get the count. They thought they had me beat. Thank goodness the other referee was watching. Also, Paul Orndorff, who's been giving us a hand, came into the ring and saw that everything was taken care of. And believe me, that Oriental gentleman, he got involved there. It was none of his business. He shouldn't have been involved. We had things going. It backfired on him. And although that we do finally win this match, Charlie, it's by disqualification. And as you know, the belts don't change on disqualification. It's such a shallow victory, and it's so sickening to have those belts right in the palm of your hand and have them slip through right away. They've salted me down so much that I feel like a finely cured ham myself. I've had so much salt all over my body. And here they're going to give us the match, but it didn't really mean that much because we didn't win the titles. What we're after is the titles. The way to hurt Condrey and Rose is win the belts. That's what we intend to do some way, some shape or form. We're going to win those tag team title belts, and then Condrey and Rose, you'll be walking way behind with your tail tucked between your legs, and we'll have the belts on us. Thank you, Charlie.
Father-son wrestling team of Bob and Brad Armstrong will return.
Man, I tell you what, Ron, Condrey and Rose almost always figure out a way to win a match, which they did today. And if that was salt that Saito threw in Bob's eyes, I can only imagine what that felt like. That had to be horrendous. All right, so our next video is an interview between the upcoming championship elimination tag match between the Armstrongs and Condrey and Rose. And our producer Brian is going to play that one for us right now. Here we go.
The Southeastern Tag Team Champions, Rose and Condrey, defend against Bob and Brad Armstrong in a four-man elimination match. Before I talk to the challengers, let's hear from the champions.
People of Birmingham, Alabama, we are sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired of the Armstrongs thinking they are a better team than Condrey and Rose. So what we're going to do, we're going to find out once and for all right there in Boutwell Auditorium who the best team is. We're going to lay our game plan down to you people right now. We're going to take Bob Armstrong, we're going to beat him. He has to go back to the dressing room. And then Brad Armstrong, we're going to take your ugly mug. And we're going to take these hams, baby. And everything on your face is open, we're going to close. And everything is closed, we're going to open, Jack.
We're going to pop all them zits that you couldn't get rid of as a kid, Bradley.
Acne.
Well, Brad, it's apparent Rose and Condrey are planning on keying on you. How do you feel about it?
Well, you know, Les, I've never been in an elimination match like this before, but Dad's been helping me out a heck of a lot. And what we're going to do is we're keying on that first fall. That's what we're doing, is keying on that first fall, because after that, it's going to be 2-on-1. And I just hope it's these two on one of those.
Bob, indeed, the first fall is all important.
Exactly right. Elimination is, like they say, elimination match, which is as follows. When you lose, you leave. Somebody's going to get beat out of four men, and they must go to the dressing room, and that's going to leave 2-on-1. Brad and I have worked very hard together. They're talking about game this and game that. Well, we ain't coming to play. We're coming to stay. And in Boutwell, somebody's liable to get hurt. They've got all their plans laid down, Les. They've got it figured that they're going to beat one of us. Well, what if we just turn that around? Who says that we can't beat them? I'll say this, we've never said we're a better team. I think we're as good. Brad's still a rookie. He hasn't even been wrestling a year yet, but he's got the heart, he's got the gall, and he's ready to go. And in Birmingham, we'll prove we're as good. We'll end up 2-on-1, and we'll get Condrey or Rose.
I don't think I ever saw one of these type tag matches, but I bet it was very interesting to see in person. All right, so what was next on the show, Stud?
Well, the next thing was the second TV match of this Studcast.
All right. Brian is going to set that one up, a single TV match with Jerry Stubbs.
Our next match, one fall, 10-minute time limit. Introducing in the corner to my left, at 225 pounds from Atlanta, Georgia, Jerry Stubbs. Jerry Stubbs. His opponent at 218 pounds from Jacksonville, Florida, Sonny Driver. Sonny Driver.
Sonny Driver taking on the former NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion, Jerry Stubbs.
And also the former U.S. Junior Heavyweight Champion, Jerry Stubbs. Collar and elbow, Charlie, and Stubby with a nice fireman carry takedown. Goes to the arm bar. So Driver with his work cut out for him here. Jerry Stubbs has really come into his own the last year and a half of his professional career. Watched this gentleman as he's progressed, and certainly has become one of the complete wrestlers in the junior heavyweight division. And I think Les Thornton and Stan Lane both should be leery of Stubbs, having beaten Thornton twice for the world title, having held the U.S. junior title longer than any other man in that division for that title. Jerry, as I say, has come into his own and become a very, very capable champion or contender, no matter which side of that coin that he happens to be on. Right now with the hammerlock on Sonny Driver. And Driver's a pretty tough character, Charlie. He lacks some experience, but Driver gets in there and digs. But as you can see right now, Stubbs controlling, Jerry key-locking through on the hammerlock from the front side. Driver, but Stubby hangs on.
Stubbs still holding on with that hammerlock.
Jerry trying a combination on the head now. Driver coming up and finds the ropes. Couldn't make it to his feet, but was able to lunge into those ropes. He'll get the break. Once again, jockeying for position. Stubbs back to the arm with the arm bar. Oh, and over the high side with that fireman carry and into the arm bar. Jerry has control here, Charlie. And Driver needs to open up, needs to get out in front to gain some momentum here. The experience definitely rides with the man from Atlanta, Jerry Stubbs. And look carefully on the break, but Driver goes in underneath with that punch, and now a knee and another knee. So here's Sonny Driver making his move now to try and dominate offensively. Driver opening up now, goes for the slam and sends Stubbs crashing to the canvas. Driver trying for a body press here. Stubby kicking out right on that one count. Driver didn't have his man hooked. Bad try, and Jerry doubles him up and goes with a forearm smash, spins him around, sets him up now. He's going to the ropes with him. Takes him for the backdrop. So Driver had his chance to control, and finding a flaw in the armor, reversed the tables, and now Jerry Stubbs back in the driver's seat and moving in on Sonny Driver, setting him up, trying to pull him away. Forearm again, staggers Driver back into that corner. It was all he could do to stay on his feet with that one. Field out. And Stubbs now moving in to take control again.
Stubbs takes his man into the turnbuckle. Snap and takedown. Stubbs in control. Two count.
Jerry trying to grapevine that leg, but Driver was moving as Jerry got his leg cinched in there. Couldn't hang on. Suplex. And let's see if Stubby puts him away here. Driver gets out on the 2 count, so Sonny Driver hanging in there. Stubbs going neck breaker.
Well executed by Stubbs. Moving in again on Driver.
A headbutt. Don't see Jerry use that one often, Charlie, but Driver certainly was dazed with it. Stubby shoots him in. Shot to the midsection. Double Sonny Driver up.
Driver barely on his feet, back into the ropes. And Jerry Stubbs power slam. That's it.
That's a good move, and one that's won a lot of matches for Jerry Stubbs. He does well with that power slam and comes
Man, I tell you, that was a great match, and Stubbs' opponent, Sonny Driver, was not a bad wrestler himself. All right, so this match was followed by an interview, and Brian is going to set that one up for us right now. Here it is.
Joining me now, Jerry Stubbs and Ken Lucas. Jerry, the former NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion, also former U.S. Junior Heavyweight Champion. Ken Lucas, former Southeastern Heavyweight Champion. Both of you two gentlemen have met with problems in the last few weeks of getting title matches from two specific gentlemen. Stan Lane, the holder of the U.S. Junior title, and in your case, Ken Ron Bass, holder of the Southeastern Heavyweight Championship.
That's correct, Charlie. You know, Ron Bass has got the belt now, and Stan Lane's also got a belt, and both times that myself and Jerry's asked those guys to defend those belts, the first thing they said, no way. So I can't see how these guys can be champions with any type of fortitude behind them, because myself and Jerry's in a tag match, and we've got these guys, and if we get a win over them, then we're going to get a chance at those belts. And I'm going to tell you something, Bass. I'm coming right at you, my man. You know what I'm going to do.
And Jerry, you held that U.S. Junior title longer than any other man, and before we get your comments on your problems with Stan Lane putting up that title, let's hear the comments of Stan Lane and Ron Bass.
You know, Stan, when you're the king, you got people kind of chasing you. I've got one, Mr. Ken Lucas. Every time I turn around, I see an ugly face staring at me. He's wanting title matches. He's wanting no disqualification matches. He's wanting everything in the world. But Ken Lucas, you're not the champion now, my friend. I'm the champion. I'm the one that makes stipulations, and it's going to be my way or it won't be at all. Now, I know, Stan, you got one, Jerry Stubbs, that keeps nipping at you, son. What's he going to do, my friend?
You know, Ron, isn't life sweet? We're on top of the world. Movie contracts flooding into our apartments every day. Rock stars calling us up. We're on top of the world. We'll stay here because we'll keep these belts forever.
Jerry?
You know, it seems to me, Charlie, that they're both running scared. Well, Stan Lane, we got you both in a tag match. When we defeat you, you're going to have to put the belts up, and we will be the new champions.
Comments of Jerry Stubbs and Ken Lucas.
Okay, Stud, correct me if I'm wrong. Did I get this right? If Stubbs and Lucas won the tag match against Lane and Bass, Stubbs would get a shot at Lane's belt, and Lucas would get another shot at the Southeastern title, which belonged to Ron Bass, the following week. So this TV show was moving right along. All right, let's go to the personality profile for this TV show. Here's that video.
My guest today on Personality Profile, the father-son wrestling team of Bob and Brad Armstrong. Bob, Brad, welcome. A lot of action taking place in the Southeastern wrestling area now, and a lot of emphasis being put on tag action.
Exactly right. You know, Condrey and Rose, the current Southeastern Tag Team Champions, have had those belts for quite a while. And as everybody knows, it's no secret, Brad and I have vowed to get those belts one way or the other. We've been through quite a few different type matches with them for those belts, and somehow they always just kind of slip through our hands. But, you know, I've talked to Brad a lot about it. We train hard together, and when I train with Brad, I don't let up. I train hard. When I hit him hard, because I want him to learn the hard way. I want him to know how it feels to be hurt, because that's what professional wrestling is all about, pain. You have to get used to pain to be a pro wrestler. He's only 18 years old, and already I feel like he's come a long way. I'm very proud of him. Condrey and Rose, on the other hand, are cousins. They grew up together. They know each other's moves, and they're one heck of a tag team. I can't take anything away from them. I've got to give the devil his due, but I'm saying this. I believe with all my heart and soul that Brad Armstrong and Bob Armstrong can become the Southeastern Tag Team Champions. We won these titles before. Everybody said it's a fluke. They were lucky. Maybe we were, maybe we weren't. Since that time, Brad's gone out onto his own. He's won the U.S. Junior title. He's gained a lot of experience wrestling as a single wrestler. And believe me, you learn a lot that way. But tag team action is completely different. Condrey and Rose are some of the best. But we're out to prove something. We're out to prove that we can be champions again. We're out to prove that, you know, you don't only have to be good, that old Mother Nature and Mother Luck plays a lot. You have to be in the right place at the right time. And one of these days, these titles are going to stop slipping through our hands, and we're going to win those titles. And when we do, it's going to be the proudest day of my life.
Brad, I know you're happy to be wrestling with your father as a tag team partner.
Exactly right, Charlie. You know, me and Dad went our separate ways for a while. We wrestled in singles, and when you wrestle in singles, you either learn or you lose, and you learn the hard way. I learned the hard way, and that way you don't forget it. So I feel like that I've possibly strengthened my end of the tag team here, so maybe I can give Dad a little bit more help with Condrey and Rose.
Condrey and Rose, the Southeastern Tag Team Champions, and earlier today we got the comments from the champions.
Well, you know, cuz all the way through kindergarten, grammar school, high school, it didn't matter.
As long as we were together, we never lost. When my cousin here would be in a little bit of trouble, we had an old saying that old Uncle Red Neckerson told us about, holler down a whopping, and we'd come to help each other. And we have never been beat as a team or as singles. It don't really matter. I'm going to tell you something too, Armstrongs. There's no way that you're going to beat us. Mother Nature, Mother Luck, it don't matter who you get. Mother Armstrong, it don't really matter, does it, cuz?
Sure don't. You know, we had a football coach at Central High School, baby. His name was Tater Graham. And he always had a motto he used to tell us. He'd say, Dennis Condry, Randy Rose, you can do anything you want to do in life. You can be on top in football. You can be the best in baseball, basketball. But our love was wrestling, baby. We wanted to be the best in wrestling. And he said, if you two guys will live by this one motto, you will become champions. And that's exactly what we did. He had a motto. It went something like this. You remember it, cuz? It went something like, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you, but do it first. And that's exactly what we've been doing, baby. All of our lives, we've been getting down. Street fighting, mud fighting, wrestling, boxing. It don't matter. Playing football. And we always won, because we're winners.
Often imitated, but never duplicated.
Never duplicated. And we got something right here in our hands to show that all the work, all the striving, all the coming up fights, street fights, baby, we won them all. And this right here is the proof.
I think coming up in the Southeastern Wrestling area, a unique type of match involving you and Brad, in which sometime during the match it will end up 2-on-1 because it will be an elimination match between you, Brad, and these two.
Right, and it took a lot of thought for me to put Brad into something like this, Charlie. You know, it's going to be a very dangerous type match, and if we should happen to lose that first fall and either Brad and I have to go to the dressing room, it's going to be very dangerous for the other one. Now, I'm sure that what Condry and Rose will try to do is beat me first, where they'll have Brad all to themselves. But I talked to Brad, and Brad's got an awful lot of gumption. He said, let's do it, Dad. Let's sign the contract. We did sign the contract. We're in for it. We know we are, but we're training hard, and who knows what will happen. I mean, nobody can actually predict what will happen in professional wrestling. Maybe we'll be champions.
Comments with Bob and Brad Armstrong, now tag team partners here in the Southeastern Wrestling area.
You know what? Bob and Brad were finally back together. And again, after Condry and Rose and the Southeastern tag belts. I think that's so cool that they were coming back after that. All right, this time we found out more about that upcoming and very unusual tag elimination match. So what was coming up next, Ron, on this TV show?
It was going to be the third live TV match with Paul Orndorff against a guy named Joe Turner. And Paul was going to be in the first Japanese death match in America against Masa Saito the next week for the Alabama Championship belt.
All right, our producer Brian is going to play that match for us right now. Here it is.
Our next match, one fall, 10-minute time limit. Introducing in the corner to my left at 235 pounds from Tampa, Florida, Paul Orndorff. His opponent at 250 pounds from Mobile, Alabama, Joe Turner. Joe Turner.
Joe Turner taking on Paul Orndorff on Southeastern Championship Wrestling. Orndorff, of course, former North American heavyweight champion, outstanding competitor.
Joe Turner, a tough campaigner, but Orndorff, one of the top conditioned professional wrestlers in the sport today. Arm wrestling champion, a former footballer with the New Orleans Saints as a tailback, fullback. Top wrist lock. Turner goes to the ropes. They get the break. Once again, collar and elbow. Orndorff comes up with the headlock now. Let's see what Joe's going to do to counter that. Orndorff clamping down. And of course, Orndorff and Saito have battled for quite some time now over that Alabama title, Charlie, and Saito wanting that belt. Orndorff, the proud wearer of it at this time. Nice break there. Expected Turner to do something, but Orndorff fires kick. Putting that knee in alongside the head to gain a little leverage. Now the foot.
Orndorff controlling that left arm of Joe Turner.
You know, I think Paul, Charlie, is an ideal size for a pro today? At about 240, good condition, has the speed at that weight, has the power from his conditioning, his weightlifting exercises, and the man is very well put together and a complete athlete, no doubt about it. Nice hook on the hammerlock takedown by Paul Orndorff. Turner with about 20-pound weight advantage, but having no luck using that weight at this point. Again, Orndorff keying through from the front on that hammerlock.
Clamping down applying pressure, and let's see what Turner can do. Jab into the rib cage, and again Turner looking for some means of escape. Orndorff, arm twist. Orndorff stays in control.
Turner hasn't been able to use his bulk, his size to bull his way into the lead offensively, and Orndorff has stayed right on top of him. Of course, Paul operates that way. Coming out with that slam on the counter is Joe Turner, moving back to the corner, though, trying to get the circulation going in that arm. Turner being a bit careful now as they go back in copper elbow. Orndorff goes in deep with the arm drag, take down the arm bar, and he's keyed on that arm. Orndorff has stayed with that arm and keeping Turner on the canvas, controlling. Orndorff is not a flamboyant wrestler, is not an aerialist, but a very productive and efficient athlete.
Connection to the head by Turner staggers Orndorff over on those ropes. And again, Turner with the right connection.
Turner taking over, and Orndorff right back at him, firing away. 2 quick jabs to midsection, moves in now. Little shoulder jab, and Turner catches him with that knee. Paul spinning around, staggered down to his knees now. Joe Turner with a chance to take over control here. Moves in with that knee again. It's been very effective for him.
Turner with a knee. Using it very effectively against Orndorff. Orndorff now back to his feet.
And Orndorff catches him as he goes over the top. Sunset flipped him, but Turner, using the legs on across the ears there, was able to break free.
Orndorff. Series of right connections has Turner staggered.
Turner not getting that head of speed necessary to take over. Fighting to get out. Orndorff pulling him back, not letting him go. Saito! Apparently a handful of something, Charlie. Powder, stone, I don't know what. He's moving in on Paul Orndorff now, blinded by whatever it was Saito threw. Saito chopping away. The man from Tampa, Florida. Karate thrust.
Saito going after Orndorff.
Roy Welch here steps pulling Orndorff out of harm's way.
Hopefully Paul will be okay. We'll be back in just a moment.
You know, it looked like to me that Saito seemed desperate to win the Alabama belt back from the one and only Paul Orndorff. He had his type of match, a Japanese death match, coming up the next week, and he just threw salt in Paul's eyes on this TV match, which when it wasn't even involved in it. So anyway, that's crazy. But what about the rules for the upcoming Japanese death match, Stud?
Well, that's a good question, Dave. As I said, I think this probably maybe the only Japanese death match in the history of America. And it was basically a cross between a sumo-style Japanese match and a regular wrestling match. And to win a sumo match, you had to throw your massive opponent out of the huge circle, which was created with a thick rope and a circular on the ground. And in fact, when in Japan in 1983, when I was there, we wrestled in Sumo Hall the last night that I was in Japan, and they had 24,000 seat people, Dave, and everybody was sitting on their rear ends. Legs crossed. The sumo wrestling, basically they placed the ring on the same area in which the sumo wrestlers wrestled, and they had that big rope on it. They went all the way around, and so in this Japanese death match, they had the top rope taken off of the ring, so it only had the first and the second ropes on the ring, and they did that because in order to win this match, you had to throw your opponent over that second rope and out onto the concrete.
Are you kidding, Ron? I mean, wow. You had to intentionally toss someone over the second rope of the ring and out onto the concrete to win the match? I mean,
yes.
It just seems like that could be truly dangerous. So after this match, was Paul scheduled to come back out for an interview about this upcoming Japanese death match?
Yes, as a matter of fact, he was, but he still had his eyes full of salt, so bad that he couldn't come to the set.
Wow!
And so then Saito had just thrown that salt in his eyes, and so Charlie and Les they did their very best to explain the rules, basically, like we just did here, of what the Japanese death match was all about in the next interview.
All right, so this was becoming a very scary TV show, it seems like. So who and what was in the last segment of this TV show?
Well, the rest of the show was all about the upcoming 10-round boxing match between the Tennessee Stud and Jimmy Golden. Golden went to the set to start it, and he showed what had happened the week before. They had a Southern street fight between, obviously, him and the Tennessee Stud, and then they went straight into the ring for a match.
Okay, so our producer Brian is going to show us the Jimmy Golden version of the street fight, the match that followed, and then Jimmy's training, and then Ron, your training as well. So here it is.
Jimmy Golden coming out to join us. Jimmy, we have some...
Before I get down to business, I got some things I want to say about this Tennessee Stud, to Ron Fuller. You know, that boy is the sorest loser I have ever seen in my life. He can't stand to lose, and he loses all the time, and I just love it. I swear I love beating that man better than anything, better than eating chocolate pie.
We have some videotape.
I got a film right. Put it up there. I want the people to see what a true gentleman that I am and what a true boxer that I am. You know, this is where I got the idea for a boxing match. Look at this. I want you to look at this film now. It's this filthy, nasty Ron Fuller trying to take my clothes off.
This was a Southern street fight match. No rules to the match at all.
One Charlie Platt, and you're just like him too. So you let me do the talking up here because you know nothing about wrestling. Right here, I knocked his lights out, baby, with that boot of his he come wearing in the ring. He's supposed to whip me with the boot. I took his boot off and whipped him with it. And right here we have a double collision, and both of us are down. Let me tell you something. They cut a lot of this film out, but I give Ron Fuller the licking of his life in this street fight match. But the best is yet to come. What I want you to see is coming up here in just a few minutes, where I really knock him out with a good right cross. Now right here, I figure I'm going to put the icing on the cake and wipe him out real good. But he come up with his boot, a little surprise for me. And I'll have to say he did me a good one right there. Very few of the ones that he ever did give me. He couldn't knock me out with his fist, but he might have did it with a boot right there. He didn't beat me here. The referee didn't make it. No, that wasn't a 3 count there. He did not make a 3 count. The match is not over. The match is not over. The finish is fixing to come right here in just a second. Right here, it's going to come up. You're going to see me box like nobody else has ever boxed before. You people just hold it down.
With the assistance of Ron Bass.
Right here, look at me.
With the
combinations left and right. The referee's in the way. I got to get him out of the way. But, brother, I am jabbing him.
and hooking him, combination him, brother. You're talking about a real gentleman's sport, a real gentleman's match. This is it, a good old boxing match. That's the way to really settle things right now. There comes a jerk, little fat Ken Lucas coming here, interrupting the match. But he's nothing anyway. So there goes your winner right there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to tell you, I came up with the greatest idea, a way to really settle it between me and old Ron Fuller. A good gentleman's match, a good old boxing match, man. And I'm going to tell you, I've won titles all over the country in boxing. That's where I got these big arms with boxing. I won the Tennessee Golden Gloves Championship. I have beat them all, brother. I have taken care of business. And I'm going to tell you something, what I'm going to do right now. You see this man up here that got the ring? Yes. I'm fixing to go up here, and I'm going to box him severely around the head and ears. I'm going to give him a good boxing lesson. Ron Fuller, I want you to pay close attention, son, because it's just an example of what you're going to get tonight.
Let's go to the ring now for the introduction of our next match of the day.
Our next match, one fall TV time remaining. Introducing in the corner to my left at 220 pounds from Montgomery, Alabama, Burrhead Jones. His opponent at 232 pounds from Montgomery, Alabama, Jimmy Golden.
All right, here we go. Jimmy Golden in action against Burrhead Jones.
Jimmy Golden keyed up, man. Look at this. Putting up those dukes. Larry Holmes, what do you think, Charlie? I don't know here. Golden's supposed to be wrestling Burrhead. And Golden throwing those jabs in there. Burrhead in and double legs him. Well, for scoring points, Golden gets some points for boxing. Burrhead gets some points for wrestling.
Golden again with the jab. Golden connecting.
Spins Burrhead around a little bit with that one, and again blows him down. And I would think the referee would be calling these punches here.
And
he dropped him hard there, Charlie.
Golden dropping Jones straight down. Hard right connection. And Jones all but out.
Look at here. He's up there dancing around like he just won the World Boxing title.
And with all of this talk of boxing going around here in the Southeastern Wrestling area, we had a chance to see what two participants are doing as far as preparation for this boxing.
Davis, a song called...
We came today to find the Jimmy Golden and get some of his comments on an upcoming boxing match here in the Southeastern Wrestling area and what kind of special training is taking place for your boxing match, Jimmy.
You know, I've been in real tough training, man, getting ready for this boxing match, and you know, I just can't hardly wait because I've been taking all this time. I've been wrestling this Ron Fuller, and I've been wrestling him in his style of matches, and I have been beating him in his style of matches, and I watched myself in a film in a street fight match where I was boxing his jaws with left and rights and combinations, and I said, you know, that is really Jimmy Golden's style. That's a real gentleman's game. It's a good old boxing match because I ain't a cheater, you know, and a good boxing match can really get things settled. You know, Charlie Platt, that's where I got these big old arms and shoulders is boxing up in Tennessee, you know. I won the Tennessee State Golden Gloves title, the Southern Golden Gloves title, boxed up in Chicago, and you know, that is really my style, is a good old boxing match. And you know something, I've been punching here and working out here on this little bag. Here's old Tennessee Stud and his mask right there. I'm gonna put it right up there so he looks real nice. And you know something, Charlie, when I put these gloves on, it just really does something to this arm. The power that I get in this arm is unreal. It's like turning on a light switch, you know. Jack Dempsey and Muhammad Ali would have loved to have the power that Jimmy Golden's got in this arm right here. And I'm gonna tell you something, Ron Fuller, Tennessee Stud, I'm gonna knock you right out of the arena, boy, because I've been getting ready for you. And like I said, this is a real gentleman's game, a real gentleman's match. a good old boxing match, and I'm going to beat you black and blue, boy, severely around the head and ears I'm talking about, to where your mama and daddy won't even know your face when you go home.
Here you have the comment.
Now, you guys go on and don't be bothering me no more, because I don't want everybody to know about my secret training.
Comments of Jimmy Golden, a brief history of his previous boxing experience and some of the training he's going through. Now let's get some comments from the Fuller camp from Les Thatcher.
Thank you, Charlie, and we are indeed in the Ron Fuller training camp for the big boxing match, and Ron training with friend Ken Lucas now, punching at Kenny's hands, and Ron, I know there's a method to your madness here. It's not exactly Ken Lucas you're looking at, but as you can hear, Ken Lucas saying is...
I'm thinking about it. I don't know how Golden's trying to train for this, but I'll tell you what I'm training for.
Left, right.
I've been running 5 miles a day, and I'm going to beat Golden's brains out in this boxing match.
Well, let's get a look here at what Ron Fuller's been
for right
at.
here, Mr. Golden. That's what you're going to see, what's going to happen to Mr. Golden's face when Ron Fuller gets through with him, I guarantee you.
Kenny's been working with me all week. We've been training. We've been in Pensacola punching the big bag down at the gym. We're looking forward to it. Golden, I don't know how you've been training, but you better be ready, son, because we are ready.
Boxing, Ron Fuller and Jimmy Golden.
And Les, with that, I've never seen Jimmy Golden with the gloves on, but I have seen the Tennessee Stud in action in boxing.
According to Jimmy Golden, he's certainly got a long list of creditable boxing appearances, calling about Golden Glove titles. I don't really know, but I'll say this, that the two of them are big, powerful men, and they start throwing those gloves around, Charlie, somebody's going to get hurt, no doubt about it. It's going to be something to see.
There you see the training methods and of two participants here in the southeastern wrestling area who decide to straighten their differences in the ring, but in a different way.
Yeah, it keeps building ahead of steam, doesn't it, with Golden and Fuller? It never seems to come to an end, and I don't know where the end is or whether it's ever in sight, Charlie.
Hey, I got to tell you, that was a great back-to-back segment. You're winning the street fight, then Bass holding you up while Golden played Muhammad Ali. So, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. So Golden then going into the ring, knocking out Burrhead Jones in a live match, and then Golden with Charlie Platt showing his ridiculous training for the upcoming fight. And finally, you working out with Ken Lucas. I tell you what, that was a great TV show. So that had to be the end of it. Was that not the end of it?
No, Dave, not quite. There was only about 1 minute left in the entire show. And that gave us just enough time to take a last shot at getting a little something in that had to do with that boxing match.
Oh, man, and you guys were great at that in the last minute of the show, getting something really exciting coming up. All right, so our producer, Brian, is going to set up that video on this Studcast number 399. Here it is.
Wrestling card. And of course, the main event is 10 rounds of boxing. Ron Fuller with me now, seconded by Ken Lucas, going against cousin Jimmy Golden, seconded by Outlaw Ron Bass. Before I talk to Fuller and Lucas, let's hear from Golden and Bass.
You know what, Brother Ron? It's a real shame. That Tennessee stud, Ron Fuller, is a sore loser. He can't stand to lose, and he's been losing all his life, especially when he steps in the ring with Jimmy Golden, brother. And I'm going to tell you something. I am the greatest at boxing. I won the Tennessee title, Golden Gloves at boxing, the Southern Golden Gloves boxing. I've been boxing all over the world, Daddy. That's where I got these big arms right here. And this is a real gentleman's game because I'm a gentleman, a good match to settle some business in, and that's what I'm going to do in Birmingham, baby. And you know, ladies and gentlemen, I've already taken the mask off of the Tennessee stud, and now I'm going to knock your head off in Birmingham, Jack. I'm going to beat you black and blue, Daddy. This ain't going to be no Rocky movie. I'm going to get some real meat.
Golden talking about gentlemen, Ron. Do you plan on being a gentleman Monday night?
Well, I certainly don't. And, I won't be sitting in a chair like a little blow-up dummy, son. I will be in there with bells on, my boy.
Well, I got to tell you, that might have been one of the best TV shows yet. So what happened? Tell us what happened next week as we get out to the arenas in the 4 major markets.
Well, Roberto Soto got himself a win over the Masked Angel in the first match. In the second tag match, and then the special tag match, Jerry Stubbs got a pin on Stan Lane. And that was going to give him not only Stubbs a title shot at Lane's belt the next week, but it was also going to give Ken Lucas a shot at Ron Bass's Southeastern belt the next week. Masa Saito regained the Alabama belt from Paul Orndorff in the Japanese death match, which was, my goodness, an extremely violent and dangerous match. Wow, especially the way that Paul was thrown out of the ring for Saito to win it. I mean, wow, I was really, really concerned about Paul getting hurt. And then in the Southeastern Championship match, the champion Ron Bass managed to keep his belt by automatically getting disqualified when he hit the referee. Lucas got his hand raised, but he certainly didn't get the belt. Then in the Southeastern Tag Elimination match, Bob Armstrong was the first guy eliminated, and obviously the first one to be sent back to the dressing room. Now, that left Brad in the ring against both Condrey and Rose by himself with no partner. And Brad looked beat, man, and he was being double teamed most of that time in there with those two guys. But then, wow, he executed a beautiful reversal of a suplex, turned it into a small package, and got a pin on Randy Rose. So that leveled things up. Now it's just Dennis Condrey and Brad in there. And so at that point, Condrey opened up a cut on Brad, and he had Brad bleeding. And it seemed like Brad was definitely beat when Brad reversed a suplex on Condrey. And he almost got the pin and the championship belts. But Randy Rose came running from the dressing room, and he stomped Brad off. Referee stopped the match, disqualified Rose and Condrey, declared the Armstrongs the winners. Bob came down at that point, got in the ring to protect Brad. But the disqualification kept them from winning the belts. They'd actually got their hands raised, but they didn't win the belts. In the last match, both seconds, Ron Bass and Ken Lucas had a bucket full of water and one towel. We didn't do it like big time boxing did, but we did go that far. They had a bucket of water and a towel, and that was going to be for the 10-round boxing match between Ron Fuller and Jimmy Golden. And there was at least one knockdown in every one of those rounds before the fight ended, which didn't end until the 7th round. Went almost to 10 rounds. So before the beginning of the 6th round, without the referee seeing it, Bass is, standing in front of between him and Gold, between the referee and Golden, and he slipped a piece of metal into Jimmy's glove. It was the 6th round of the match. So when the bell rang, Golden came out for that round, and he knocked the stud down 3 times in that one round. Ron was able to save himself from the bell at the end of the round. Actually, the bell saved him. So when Lucas got the stud back to his corner after that round, he set Ron down on his stool, and he took advantage this time of the referee not paying attention, and Lucas put the stud's right glove down in the water bucket for the entire rest period, that 2-minute rest period. And it soaked up a significant amount of weight. During that rest period.
Wow.
So when the bell rang for the 6th round, Golden came out swinging. He still had his glove loaded, but the stud hit him just one time with that water-soaked glove, and the boxing match was done. He was counted out. And everybody in the building was on their feet cheering as Golden got carried back to the dressing room. He didn't even get up after he got knocked down. He had to be carried back.
Man, that had to be a great boxing match. And obviously the crowd got a big pop on the end of that one. All right, so how about the crowds? How did you do on the crowds at the shows during the week?
Well, everything in the territory, man, was on fire at that point. Birmingham had over 6,000 fans again, which it had 6,000, a little over 6,000 a week before. Mobile was in Expo Hall, so it did its normal 6,000 people. And as usual, probably turned away 2,000, maybe 3,000. Montgomery had almost 5,000, had 4,800. And Dothan was right there where it was the week before with 5,300. So all four combined was 22,300 fans.
You know what? That had to be an average about 5,500 in all of the four major cities. So every one of them did really well. I tell you, this has been another exceptional Studcast, and it's also been the most video minutes so far since you started adding the videos to these incredible shows. All right, the crowds had become so big. I don't know how you are going to get more people into your four major markets unless you get bigger buildings to start packing. So where are we riding on the next week's show?
Well, speaking of the bigger buildings, Dave, I wish we had more of them, obviously, but at least we were going to be in the main arena in Mobile for the next week. And on the next Studcast, we're going to need it. As a matter of fact, next week's card is going to be headlined by not just one, but two cage matches. And each of those cage matches are going to have very unique special stipulations to them. And there was going to also be 3 more championship matches next week added to the cage matches.
Wow.
And one of those 3 matches was going to be a loser leaves Southeastern. And the opening match for this card next week, number 400, will be a ladies match.
Wow, okay, that's cool. That's one of the biggest cards yet, and it's going to be coming in the 400th Studcast. Next week is really going to be huge, and congratulations, Ron. Can't wait for that. Any final thoughts on this episode, number 399, Ron?
Well, just a big thank you, man, to all the tremendous StudStreaming.com fans, and we appreciate your support and hope you tell your friends about us. Please take care of yourself and others, and may God bless us all.
For Ron Fuller in the Great Smoky Mountains of Tennessee, I'm David Summers saying thank you for listening. Find me at davidsummersproductions@gmail.com. This Studcast is a David Summers production for Tennessee Stud, LLC.
Thanks for joining us today for this historic Studcast. The true story continues next week. So full Nelson your friends and point them in our direction for another ride with the Tennessee Stud.
1, 2, 3.
This is David Summers saying so long from the Great Smoky Mountains.